It's time to talk about the Isle of Fangs, boys. Yes, the Season 1 of Midnight is about to kick off, but I'm already looking forward to 12.1. That's right, the new patch zone. If you were with me when I was questing throughout the Amani Troll Zone, I was talking about this next patch, right? And talking about the interest that we have in this little foggy island off the coast and how I think this is going to be the next patch. Well, here we go. Taliesin and Evitel speculating a lot of the same shit I was talking about here. Let's get into this one and talk about probably what's going to be happening in 12.1.
Oh, wow. The Argentina is amazing.
Yeah, it's just so friendly and cozy and nice, you know?
Thanks so much for inviting us, Khadgar. When did you find this place?
Not long ago. Maybe 25 years or so.
What?
25 years? It must have been pretty lonely here, all by yourself for all that time, I guess.
Well, you know, over time, I invited a few friends.
Yeah, like...
Wait a minute. Are they hinting that the Arcantina is actually Khadgar's goon cave? Is that where we're going? This is what it's been all these years?
us, right?
Actually, now you mention it, everyone does seem very at home here, almost like they've been coming here for literally years.
Without
kept
us.
it a
Khadgar, I
secret.
don't want to seem ungrateful, okay, but are you seriously saying that you've been coming here for over 25 years and you've only just invited us now?
I didn't think it would be your vibe.
Dude, we cleared Black Temple together.
I ran around farming the bits of your stupid ring in WoD for like a year.
On the Broken Shore, you sent me on some of the worst weeklies I've ever done in my life, but I did them, Khadgar, for you.
And it never occurred to you to be like, oh, by the way, there's this place me and literally everyone else you've ever met goes to hang and unwind. Would you like to come?
I thought we were friends, dude.
Well, I didn't invite all that many people, Ernie.
Are you shitting me right now?
Interesting. Khadgar only invited the most upper echelon NPCs in the game here. Yeah, the Khadgar Island. Interesting. Yeah, we're not part of the Khadgar class. That's what we're saying.
You invited Dawn before you invited us, and she literally only got out of a 10,000-year stasis
Even Pepe's
5
there?
minutes ago.
You invited Lily Stormstout before us. She's not even legally allowed to be here.
Wait a minute. You didn't even invite us.
Oh, she's right! Danath Trollbane did! Khadgar, you were never going to tell us about this place at all, were you?
Well, have you got anything to say for yourself?
Knowledge is power?
Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and welcome
That's a
to
great
another
skit.
episode of the Weekly Reset. Taliesin and Evertel's wondrous wisdom show in a week, where Midnight is well and truly here for like everyone. I'm guessing most people have finished the story campaign and leveling at least one character through the new zones, so pretty much everyone will probably have their suspicions by now about the location of the next major patch. So we can finally talk about that with no spoilers, thank goodness, because I have been...
Yeah, I did all the stay a while and listens, which is really where you start to get the hints that this is where the lore is going, but it's very interesting. Also, can I just say, I really like this character. Zul'Jan is a freaking badass. I know some people are annoyed with him, but I just thought he was cool. The guy fucking has his way of doing things, and he's not going to change. And he wants to bring the Amani trolls not just to their prior glory, but he wants to make them even better than they ever were. I don't know. I kind of like this character. Some people found him annoying. I kind of found him to be cool.
Bustin'. Season 1 is getting ready to launch, which is when many of the player base feels like an expansion
Even though I think we're gonna
really
kill him.
begins. And in the midst of all this extremely good new expansion goodwill, Blizz decided to drop not one, not two, but 3 new shop bundles, including a dump of the housing items for the dreaded Hearthsteel currency, which is a shame, honestly, because had it not been for that, this episode would legitimately be a bit of a love-in, because, and you know, I wouldn't read too much into what I'm about to say, okay, because I'm about to say that Midnight is awesome so far, but in fairness, of course it is. As a World of Warcraft enjoyer, I can hand on heart say there has not been an opening fortnight of a new expansion ever where I didn't have an awesome time, even in rubbish expansions that didn't keep that quality up long term. But
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Warlords of Draenor, I always say, started with a bang, man. WoD intro quests and the storyline and everything, I thought was super badass. I had a lot of fun. And even Shadowlands, right? Flying around on the Sperm Mount and going to the different zones, which kind of looked pretty for the start of that expansion. The zones were so out there and artistic. Yeah, it was fun early on. And then it dropped off a cliff. So Midnight starting off great doesn't mean it's going to finish great, but I actually think, I just have a feeling things are heading in the right direction with this expansion, long term.
Midnight does feel awesome and extremely Warcraft in a very satisfying way. But before we get onto any of that, let's check out the week's other goings on with Evertel's News Rundown.
Welcome to Evie's News Rundown. Let's run down. The key to the Argentina cannot make up its mind. The question of what happens when you leave Khadgar's favorite exclusive members-only bar has been one that Blizz have flip-flopped over since release. First, you would step out into Silvermoon, making it essentially a Hearthstone to Midnight's capital on a 1.5 minute cooldown, which, although very nice, thank you, did seem a little unintended. Blizz swiftly changed that so that leaving the Argentina would pop you back to where you were when you summoned the secret "It's been around for decades, but we are only just getting around to inviting you here now" tavern portal. Again, on a 1.5 minute cooldown, which seemed to make a lot more sense. But now it's been changed again to once more drop you off in Silvermoon after closing time,
on a
but
15-minute
now on
cooldown.
a 15-minute cooldown, meaning that you can potentially visit the Argentina 10 times less than you could at the beginning of the expansion.
Still
which
cool,
is
though, 15-minute
thematically
cooldown.
quite fitting, since Khadgar clearly doesn't want you there anyway. It is still a free Silvermoon Hearthstone, though, at the end of the day, leaving you free to set yours in one of the other zone central hubs.
Yeah, I really should change mine, because as a human, I have the double Hearthstone buff, right? So so right now I technically have 3 Hearthstones back to Silvermoon, because I haven't changed it from Silvermoon yet. I should fix that.
And you think that Herondar or Voidstorm
But I
are
probably
going to be
won't.
the most useful, don't you? But you're actually wrong. Making Amanazar village in Zulaman your home will actually save you the most flying time overall, plus you get to hang out in Zulaman, so everyone's a winner. Our new
There
allied
you go.
race, the Heronir, are here, but not always with all of their armor. Since the arrival of the unlock last week, Heronir have been...
quick thing on the Arcantina Hearthstone. Somebody I saw in the comments on one of my videos just the other day was like, I lost my Arcantina Hearthstone. Where the fuck did it go? I can't find it. It's a toy. It's in your toys tab. Some people thought it was going to be in their bag still. It's not. Okay, so just be aware of that.
plagued with armor issues. Armor clipping has always been a legacy feature of this game we know and love, but it has been on display in the extreme with our new hairy, quilly friends. From day one, players have noticed hair and quills sticking out from armor, those fancy 3D viney underwear pieces jutting out from armor too. Give me low-res 2D underwear saran wrapped to my body any day, thanks. Entire armor sets clipping so badly as to be rendered unwearable. And perhaps most hilariously, some NPCs appear with no underwear at all. Literally just Ken-dolling it out here in Herondar.
Nice, nice. Yeah, World of Clipcraft. I mean, this has always been a thing in WoW. But yeah, unfortunately, the Harandar people are really fucking it up with all their quills and shit.
Literally, Kevin
This guy's
Costner
fu-
ass
Jesus.
cheeks out and dances with wolf style. The cheeks were apparently a step too far because despite Heronir
Sam's
armor
favorite
issues
NPCs,
being
yeah,
clocked
yeah.
by testers all the way back in beta, they had been categorized as individually minor and to be dealt with in a later patch. And like,
Wait, Cheeks Out was considered to be individually minor? Blizzard's like, yeah, the bare cheeks out. I mean, that's not a big deal. We'll fix that later. We'll patch it in later.
way to add insult to injury, Blizz. I don't
Free
think your
cheeks, free
naked
the
bits
cheeks.
are minor, Kevin Costner Heronir. They are substantial, or at least average. Until now, with a blue post announcing that now the total number of issues is large enough that we should increase our urgency. Thankfully, armor attachment and visibility issues will be addressed through a hotfix over the next week, with some clipping issues already disappearing. But it's not just armor causing grief. Players are reporting their newly race-changed Tyranneer models are sometimes scaled to their previous race. Their error speech is missing entirely, not necessarily a bad thing. There's a joke somewhere about an underground-dwelling allied race being plagued with bugs, but... oh, yeah. There you go. Good news, everyone. Midnight preseason is almost over. I love that. I love it when WoW sounds like sports. And Season 1 is starting next week. Things really start to kick off on March 17th, 18th in the EU, with the new Delves season beginning, meaning that you can now progress beyond level 7 Delves, the new PvP season beginning, new world bosses popping, and Nightmare difficulty arriving for Prey. If you've been running your Mythic Zero World Tour, Mythic Zeros will be resetting to a daily lockout for more opportunities for fat loots.
Nice.
And with a new season come the new raids, plural. This time a 3-parter with Void
Shadowpunk. Thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. Somebody in chat asked earlier if I'm gonna start raiding on the 17th. Probably. I'm gonna try to jump in like the day after, which will probably be the 18th, because the patch won't be live for a little while, so I might not play it that day. But on the 18th, I think the first thing we're going to try to do is go into normal raid and start clearing that shit.
Fire launching in
No, normal, not LFR. Come on. We're fucking men here. We talk about LFR. What kind of casual shit is that? Jesus Christ. What's your eye level? Does it fucking matter? Eye level's for punks. I have skill level, okay? My skill will outrank my eye level any day. It will be fine.
Heroic, Normal, and Raid Finder Wing 1, and the single boss Dream Rift launching in Heroic, Normal, and Raid Finder as well, with Mythic level for those raids coming the week after. Mythic Plus doesn't kick off until the 24th either, and the remaining Delves and Raid don't come until later this month, so we'll catch up on that next week. In the meantime, you have the new Delve nemesis Neleus, he of the tiniest head, to bash your own head against. We don't actually know much about Neleus just yet, apart from the fact that he drops a sweet cosmetic helm, the Neleus Domini, upon being vanquished, and that, yeah, he's got a really tiny head and really big fists. Good luck. The official
Yay. I'm excited to do that. I love the Delve double question mark difficulty boss. That solo event is like one of my favorite things to do in WoW. And we had so much fun on stream doing it. And of course, I one-shot every single one. So that's also a pretty cool streak that I got going right now. What's the link to this YouTube video? I'll send it at the end of the video.
Launch trailer is here, which is old news, but some visuals in there are new to my eyes, including a shot of Turalian and Eretor comforting Illyria before being explosively hand-waved away by Zali, quite possibly a prelude to a big showdown. And then loads of setup for the inevitable attack on Quell de Nas. The whole crew being rallied by Eretor and charging into the oncoming forces, the Lysera and some sexy topless Nightborn who are obviously her personal bodyguards because of course the Lysera has sexy topless Nightborn bodyguards. She is, after all, a queen, and that is some queen shit. Finally, giving some Nightborn representation and firing magic cannons from atop a boat at our Voidy invaders. There's a white-haired blood elf guy fire blasting away. Not sure who he is. Some blue arcane fae dragons joining the assault. Chandris Feathermoon baiting all the Night Elf players with what looks like a recolor of their heritage armor, but is just her usual kit. Ramath and Umbric fighting side by side, possibly holding hands just out of frame. And Lorthamar and Liadrin in full back-to-back blade-sweeping cinematic fight mode. All you've done is unite us, says Eretor. The Elven forces have united, as promised. How? Well, it wasn't in the midnight leveling quests, that's for sure, so presumably it's all explained in the quests that come in the aftermath of the Voidspire raid finale.
Yeah, right now we have a countdown ticker for the continuation of the storyline quest. So this week after reset, there was like a little story quest line that you can do as short, and then there's a 7-day tracker that's currently sitting in the center of Silvermoon, so we're going to get another quest line for the story, so maybe that's where that uniting of the elves, big elven orgy is going to happen.
For their plan to drop. Could be any reset between now and April 7th, honestly. Although this week does see the first installment of the max level campaign chapters. Feeding the Flame kicks things off with a trip into Voidstorm for some Eretor, Turalian, Illyria family reunion fun times. And by fun, I obviously mean fraught and strained and very unfortunate. But there we are, united. The elves and Rometh and Umbric.
Cheers.
And the rest of us too, I guess. For a big fight. Let's go! As always, we will be linking a handful of Wowhead articles in the description to this video, which go into all the topics we cover in this video in more detail for you to peruse at your leisure.
So, this is our first proper episode of the show since Midnight released, and I think it would probably be good to give you all some of our early impressions of the expansion before we go any further. I make no secret of the fact I am a huge fan of the pre-season launch part of any new expansion.
Yeah, it's always
where
my
you're just
favorite.
leveling and exploring zones and taking in the story and vibes and just generally feeling a little bit overwhelmed in a good way about
Yeah, it's always my favorite time, even though chat stays fucking angry at me for actually enjoying the expansion. It was like, Sam, you're not even cap level yet. The fuck? I'm enjoying it. I'm taking my time, reading the quests, taking in the views, the scenic routes and everything, riding my ground mount around. Fuck me for enjoying the game I pay to play. Jesus Christ.
everything there is to do. For me,
Boomer
there's
gaming.
just no better time to be playing WoW, you know? And yeah, obviously, early access sucks, and Blizz shouldn't do that. It's obviously a bit scummy and bad. But even then, there is the fact that having early access gave me an extra 3 days to enjoy that preseason game and take my time more than I usually have in recent years. So for me, this has been the best first couple of weeks of an expansion since Battle for Azeroth. You should know, there are some qualifiers to that statement, okay? I made the decision before the expansion even started that I would do as much of the leveling campaign as possible on a ground mount,
Yeah, that's what
without
I've been
flying, unless I absolutely had to. An approach that certainly won't be for everyone, but really worked for me. After whizzing through the zones of Dragonflight and War Within at super dynamic flying speed, I felt I needed to ground myself for Eversong at least, so that I could connect to the zones on a more basic level, like
Yeah.
a ground level, and hopefully enjoy them more. And it worked way better than I could have possibly hoped. My experience of those zones
Also, the first time I experienced all these zones was on the ground, right? And the old versions of WoW. So to go back through them now, it's cool because then you get to see everything that got fixed, changed, updated. I've been enjoying going through on the ground. I reacted to that whole video about ground mounting through Midnight.
was exquisite. Eversong gave me every nostalgic vibe I was hoping for. The Arator questline felt like a really important story beat. Zula Man was
I liked it.
mind-blowing on foot. The lower trials of the Reluctant Leader storyline hugely enhanced by having to physically travel from point to point over the terrain of the kingdom. I was extremely worried that Harandar was going to be impossible to traverse on a ground mount, but actually, it turned out to be my favorite leveling zone of all. The alien scale of everything, the immense feeling of importance around the zone lore-wise.
It's cool, but everyone knows what the best part about Harandar is. There's one thing specifically about this zone that is just one of the best things they've done. It's the freaking music. The music from Harandar is, it's whimsical. It takes you on a journey. It is worthy of I don't know, an Academy Award, whatever the fuck they award music these days. It's unbelievable.
I've said before, but it gives me the same tingles I used to get from entering Titan facilities in early WoW. That feeling of glimpsing behind the curtain at something really significant and unknowable. Harandar makes me feel the way I think Zereth Mortis was meant to make me feel. And the music, I mean, holy shit, come on.
It's so good, man. It really is amazing. I can listen to it all day.
And yes, that zone is very clearly a War Within zone that got shifted. The first delve is full of Nerubians and kobolds, and if you fish in there, it will level up your War Within fishing skill. The Rift of Aln part of the zone is filled with World Soul memories. You know, World Soul memories, the ones that made up the whole of the pre-patch event for War Within and looked like they were going to be a recurring theme in that expansion until they just weren't. Because the zone that put them all in context never showed up. It's this zone. This is the zone.
Did you fight the fungal strider yet, Sam? Is that the big T-Rex guy in that zone? I don't know. I finished the zone, so I assumed that if it was part of a quest, I did. But if not, probably not. Makes me want to go on an adventure out in real life. How much you want to bet the Nalarok becomes a druid bear form? That would be cool. Put it on theme, yeah.
I'm talking about. Also, and this is the real clincher for me.
Oh, the big purple
music
creature. No, I haven't
that
fought
part of the zone is the literal opening to the War Within login title screen.
Is it? Oh, I didn't catch that.
A piece of the score that doesn't play in-game at any point during the War Within, but it plays in Harrendar. Now listen, that's not to say that it's a bad thing that this zone is in Midnight. Obviously, it's just
proof that the zone was supposed to be a War Within zone, and the entire thing about the ethereals was shoehorned into the War Within to try to tie it into Midnight by Metzen post-fact, because he came into the thing after the Midnight expansion, or the War Within expansion had already been made. Probably. It's
fun to notice. I've noticed a lot of players talking online about how they also took to ground mounts for the questing and how much they enjoyed it. I'm seeing add-ons pop up that restrict your flight for leveling. This is an approach to the initial experience that I cannot recommend highly enough. Although I should also point out that it wasn't just the fact that I wasn't flying that made me enjoy the questing so much, also the fact that for the first time since campaign quests became clearly marked in Shadowlands, I also made an effort to do a handful of side quests in every area I was in too, rather than only focus on those shield quests and then come back for the side quests later, or even on a completely different character. That handful very quickly turned into doing every available quest and completing the Sojourner achievement in each zone before moving on. And it's just as important as my no flying in the equation of why I got so much out of the zones in the questing, I think. I only abandoned this approach for a bit when I got to Voidstorm, because the story quests were so urgent feeling that it didn't seem right to do side quests, and the zone does kind of scream, "You need to fly here, bozo!" So that's what I did, and I didn't enjoy the zone at all until I started ground mounting and side questing again, and then even there it felt brilliant. I love that zone now. I think these are the best side quests out of any in Midnight.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying
and overall,
they're really good.
My entire questing experience was just so much better than it was before. I honestly now think that if you don't approach leveling in WoW the first time through in this manner, you're seriously gimping yourself in terms of enjoyment. What can I say? I am a min-maxer, except instead of optimizing the game by leveling and gearing as many characters as possible and as efficiently as possible, I optimize the fun I'm having instead. Like,
yeah, imagine that, having fun, right? Wait, did you ask 5 questions, says Pella Lover, and answer it yourself? Yes, I did. The thing that I've been just enjoying, like I said, is just taking my time. I know it's like it's a crazy thought to have fun playing the game, but I've just been having fun playing the game. So yeah, that's why I'm not cap level yet.
I do whatever it takes to have more fun, which is actually kind of great. I think it's good
maximizing the fun.
Blizzard give you the choice to level how you see fit, but that does put some responsibility on you as a player to make the right choice as to which will be the most fun for you. Anyway, I feel like I got that choice right in a big way in Midnight, but also these zones are just stunning. There's so much going on, and I love getting housing decor rewards from questing and dungeons too.
I will say, the zone remakes, Blizzard said this before the expansion even launched, that they want to see how players are reacting to an old zone remake, basically expansion launch, because we got Voidstorm and Harrendar, which were new zones. But the majority of this expansion is spent in old zones. You're there in zones that already existed in the game. They're just reborn or revamped. They're actually rebuilt, to be honest, because they completely expanded them out and shit. But they wanted to see how players reacted. So far, from what I've seen in all the forums and everything, I think players are reacting great to it. They absolutely love it, including myself. I think they did such a good job with these old zones that I'm looking forward to the fact that Blizzard sees all this positive commentary. They're probably going to continue to do shit like this in the game. We already know we're going back to Northrend, so that's going to be another old zone revamp. But I just hope they keep doing this, because based on what they did in Eversong Woods and the Amani Troll Lands, Zul'Amat, all that shit, if they continue to do stuff like that in Old Azeroth, oh my god, there's like endless content in this game. There's endless places to go. It's going to be amazing. I love what they're doing.
Awesome. And yeah, initially it was a bit weird when someone is like, thanks for saving my village, hero. Here's a table. But actually, when you think about it, is that any more weird than what we're used to them saying? Which is, thanks for saving my village, hero. Here are some pants. Plus, decor is shit you get to use forever. 90% of the gear you get in questing never even gets equipped. So yeah, it feels awesome to get housing stuff, in my opinion. And yeah, to buy more of those decor items, and indeed all of the other new decor items, and indeed transmogs and pets and mounts and stuff from the vendors, appears to cost an absolutely ungodly amount of Voidlight Marl currency, as in, there is literally no way that I will ever be able to get all of this stuff kind of levels.
Well, there is a way to farm that shit. I talked about it this morning. If you want to farm Voidlight Marl, all you got to do is cap out your crests. Cap out your veteran crests right now, and everything that's supposed to give you more veteran crests will give you Voidlight Marl in exchange. So once you've capped them, if then you go do world quests or you go do rank 4 delves, you'll just be farming Voidlight Marl at that point. Is it worth your time to go do it for progression's sake? No, because it's all like cosmetic items and shit and mounts. But if you want those things, that's the way to do it. Let your crests cap out. Don't spend them. And just go farm Voidlight Marl.
Whether that's true or not isn't really
a little
as
tip from
important
Sam,
as the fact that players look at the prices and they feel like it's true. And that feels bad. So I think Blizz might want to have a look at those vendor costs. I have thoughts about the main story campaign, and we have videos and cinematic analyses coming soon, which will go into all of that, because I think there's some really interesting themes and speculation to discuss. But so far, my review of Midnight is that it feels very much like World of Warcraft. And I mean that as pretty much the highest compliment it could possibly be. Hey, you know what doesn't feel like World of Warcraft, though? Hearthsteel. Because there was I, doing delves and leveling up my professions and getting absolutely bludgeoned by the insane shouting of, like, an Otterlower or whatever he is.
Revel in this divinely abundant boon!
And doing Prey, which is
that a voice
good,
line?
if incredibly predictable. As in, I can predict when my guy is gonna ambush me to within 10 seconds every time. I'm still deciding what I think about Prey, when suddenly, and without warning, there was another ambush on the cash shop. And I know, we try not to talk about the cash shop anymore because, well, for a start, there are now so many releases on there, so regularly, that I completely lose track. And so the squirrel mounts and the kobold onesie transmog, fine. You know, I don't like them, but whatever. However, we also got our first proper drop of housing items on the store at the same time, utilizing the housing-only Hearthsteel currency. And I think this is worth talking about just for a moment, because it just fucking sucks, man. The contents of this bundle aren't a surprise. They were in the Decor catalog back in Alpha and labeled as shop items. There's actually 2 different bundles, a blossomy one with like a tree and a window and lights and stuff, and a more gardeny one with gnomes, garden gnomes, and fountains and stuff, each available for 2,500 Hearthsteel, which you buy from the store specifically to...
And by the way, it's an easy conversion in terms of American dollars. You just put a decimal point right there in the middle. It's $25. That's how much this is going to cost you. $25 race. Yes, more than a month of WoW playtime to get these items.
Spend on housing items. You can also buy every item individually with Hearthsteel too. And in many ways, you might think this is no different from any other store item, is it? Importantly, you can still purchase any of this for in-game gold, which automatically makes it better than just about any other MMO cash shop. But I think this one...
In-game, was he talking about buying a WoW token, converting it to BattleNet balance, and then spending that balance on Hearthsteel? That's what he means? I guess, yeah.
still hits just a bit different and has left a bitter taste in the mouth for many. From a personal perspective, I had already mourned housing items on the store when they introduced Hearthsteel and resolved that I would not be personally engaging with it just because I find it a little bit grubby and predatory and insulting, honestly, and it's not something I want anything to do with, even if I do really want that cherry blossom tree quite a lot, actually. But even from my holier-than-thou ivory tower, the price on some of these things genuinely shocked me.
$25.
750 Hearthsteel for a single blossom tree. And remember, you have to buy each individual one that you want in your housing chest.
They did drop that price to $250, to be fair. You know, I don't want to just shit on Blizzard about this, even though I do want to shit on Blizzard about this. They dropped the price to $250. Why? Because people were like, what the fuck? Are you serious, Blizzard? You make $7.50 for a digital tree that I want to purchase like 5 of them? What the heck? Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
At around $7 a pop? The justified outcry on this was so intense that Blizz actually repriced it to...
Okay, I did not pre-watch. I already fucking knew this news. I didn't know he was going to say it. I thought maybe he made the video before that news dropped or something. All right, I should just wait and let that... Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was caught. Yeah, okay, fuck
250
you guys.
Hearthsteel within 24 hours.
I
But
should
if
just
I'm
let
honest,
the video
thing
play.
that I hate
say
so
things.
much about Hearthsteel is that it's just so unnecessary. It puts people in a bad mood and gives people something to shit on housing about for no reason. Like, obviously Blizz have all the figures and I don't, but is this really even the best way to make money out of player housing stuff?
They're making a shit ton of money. I guarantee they're making a shit ton of money. Like, yes, there are the WoW players that are vehemently not spending money besides their WoW sub and shit. And I know people like me and some of you guys in chat exist. A lot of you guys are probably in that camp. But there are plenty of very casual, out there WoW players who are not degenning and watching WoW on Twitch or watching WoW YouTube videos. They don't know any of the controversy behind Hearthsteel or anything like that. They're just spending their money on decor. And that's just what they're going to do. And I guarantee you Blizzard's making a shit ton of money off of this. No doubt in my mind.
I think if you put the Blossom Tree on a vendor in-game for 80,000 gold, which is pretty much what 250 Hearthsteel is worth in the UK, everyone would engage with it. And I can't help but feel that loads more people would happily drop cash on WoW tokens to pay that gold and feel absolutely fine about it than are willing to get involved in the icky world of Hearth mobile game steal. That is probably impossibly naive to think, isn't it? But I think it's true. I guess that's the main thing I really wanted to express in this section by even covering this story. How pointless and self-defeating I think Hearthsteel is. And yeah, I take it personally because I'm incredibly invested in player housing, which I think is an amazing feature and a really important part of how good Midnight has felt to play so far. It was genuinely exciting to log on to a new endeavor with new progress and rewards. It's been as big a part of the launch high as Dungeons and Delves for me, and Hearthsteel is just so much less than the system deserves, in my opinion. Let us never talk of it again. Right, let's get back to the good stuff, because one of the best new things about any expansion is, of course, the massive story and lore dumps that come with it, and the masses of speculation around the story and upcoming patches that springs to life from that. Some favorites doing the rounds at the moment. Is the Haranir's goddess really Yasharaj? Is Preymaster Astor really working for Denathrius?
I think he
is. And
is.
of course, okay, so that island we can't get to in Zulaman is obviously the next patch zone, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So, what is it? We talked about this in the alpha when Zulaman first became playable and uncovered some pretty good information about it, honestly.
Big snake
but I
blower.
get that loads of people are avoiding spoilers big time around then. And actually, we have even more information about it now. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about it again this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to explore patch 12.1.
That's right.
Isle of Fangs. By now,
I think it's
those
gonna
of
be
you
cool.
who have completed the story campaign for Zulaman know that little brother Zul'Jan is a bit annoyed at how small...
By the way, none of this is confirmed. This is all speculation, so this is not really spoilers, okay? This is just like lore that was already known in the game, and lore that's being hinted at being part of the future of the game. And you got, obviously, Blizzard's foreshadowing this island. They wouldn't do this and then just never go to this fucking island. That'd be stupid. So there's a lot of stuff pointing in this direction. And now we're just going to put those pieces together and tell you what 12.1 is probably going to be.
Well, he believes his people are
When I
thinking
say we, I mean
after
Taliesin and
defeating the
Evitel with some Sam
Twilight's
commentary.
Blade. He knows the Armani are absolute badasses, and he would quite like to take back all of the old lands, by which he means, basically the whole of the Eastern Kingdoms. He reveals this to us while sitting pensively at the crumbled edge of a massive bridge, looking out onto the distance, all emo and plotting, and very definitely not setting himself up as a future baddie, nuh-uh.
Right.
Except he's not looking randomly into the distance, is he? He's looking at the Isle of Fangs, a very large-looking island to the east of Zulaman that you cannot get to. If you try to approach it, the game says an overwhelming force coils around, suffocating life from you, and the screen totally greys up with mist.
Coils around. Very snake-like, this description.
Blizz do not want you to see this island. But I mean, there's no ignoring it, is there? It dominates the skyline from the other side of the zone.
But of course, when you've been playing WoW as long as we have, you pick up some tricks along the way, and if you farsight with a shaman to the island, it's still basically invisible behind the mist. Until you get to the far side of the landmass that faces towards the sea, and then... Okay, look, I'm about to show you what's there right now.
I love that Blizzard actually put it looks like the fully rendered island is in fact in the game, which I freaking love because it just adds to the realism and immersion of the game rather than like putting a faux island that's not actually there or something else in its place, right? It looks like this is already done. And it's literally just covered in mist. So the actual patch is sitting right there in front of us. We just can't get to it yet. I think that's a really cool thing.
And we are labeling this a blue bot spoiler, seeing as this isn't through any data mining or anything. Anyone can do this in the live game right now. So,
Lots of poisonous, misty-looking stuff. A snake temple.
Damn.
I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure that's fine. Oh, and a raid entrance under the water too, which seems like it might be
Both
important.
snakeheads.
Clearly, the Isle of Fangs is intended to be visited and used in the future. But why? Who lives there? Well, that big bridge that we're sitting on spans all the way from Atal Aman and was clearly used to connect the temple to
Right.
something on the
makes sense.
island. It does kind of look like maybe the bridge didn't just fall down with age or neglect.
No, the bridge definitely looks like it was destroyed intentionally, exploded or whatever. It did just the clean breakage of it all. Like this looks like a clean break. Yes, it's jagged at the edge, but the fact that it's just straight across like that, it does look like it was broken intentionally.
But was purposely destroyed by the Amani at some point, presumably to keep whatever is on the Isle of Fangs on the Isle of Fangs, which would suggest that whatever is on the Isle of Fangs is bad. And
Right.
this island doesn't exist in the Burning Crusade version of the map, obviously, but it does exist on a pre-TBC concept map of the Eastern Kingdoms, where it's labeled the Shrine of Ulatek, a snake lower who is featured in the Warcraft RPG. Actually, honestly, being presented there as something way stronger than a lower, and who the Dark Iron Dwarves were very keen on summoning as a companion for Ragnaros. Unfortunately, and by that I mean very luckily, that never made it into the game, and RPG lore is often like the opposite of canon.
That's a cool
except
looking
when
dungeon.
It's not. Like when Tandred Proudmoore suddenly
Or
became
Raid.
a thing in BFA. And you know what? It certainly looks like Ulatek is gonna slither her way into Midnight in one form or another. The obvious story play here is that Zul'Jan is going to try and summon her to make the Armani great again, probably as his violent indentured pet since he hates the lower so much. Hence his wistful gazing across the sea to the Isle. But there could be another interesting story point that Blizzard use here too, because according to Chronicle, there's a Black Empire general buried under Zulaman called Kithix. Actually, the baddest of all the Black Empire generals.
Oh,
He was
shit.
originally probably going to appear in BFA at the end of the Zandalar campaign. The model for the general who does eventually appear, Mithrax, was originally labelled as Kithix in the files. There's also, incidentally, an Isle of Fangs on Zuldazar too. I feel like they might really have been planning something
planning
like
it
this
for BFA,
story
sounds
for
like,
that
yeah.
zone vaguely at some point. But back in Midnight, could there be a cool, bad, lower
What's up,
Black
boss?
Empire crossover thing about to go down here? Because either way, this is definitely a future future patch zone, and really the only question is, which patch? Because I've heard lots of people speculating that this is some kind of Siren Isle equivalent, a stopgap island that will take up the 12.07 patch, where we'll probably get given like a snake ring to empower with some snake gems or whatever, which will then be quite good in the real 12.1 patch zone.
I'm kind of sick of that fucking like, oh, you get this piece of armor in this patch, and now you got to empower this armor, and oh, we're in the next patch now. That piece of armor is kind of irrelevant. I don't know about you. I just don't think it's necessary. I feel like Blizzard has taken a stance that like, oh, we always need some item to empower during an entire patch. I don't think we do. I don't think I need a new anal ring amulet to fucking empower for a single patch and grind out some stones to slot in with it so it's my best in slot ring for the next 3 months. It just feels stupid. I don't know. It feels like a dumb grind. Like I feel like it breaks the immersion. I feel like a hamster on a wheel at that point. I don't need it. Just give me new gear to go get, and I'll go get the new gear by the raid and shit. I just feel like this. I don't know who put this on the corporate business like goals for every single patch, but it needs to be removed. I don't need a single item to grind out. I don't need a new cape. I don't need a new ring. I don't need a new fucking necklace. Just let me do the freaking shit and go get some new gear
straight afterwards. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Since we last covered this island a few months ago, Blizzard have released the 2026 roadmap, which describes 12.07 as having a one boss mini raid, which absolutely would fit with the Isle of Fangs underwater instance portal, but not with the images and names that we were presented with for that raid in the presentation. That very clearly being a Harandar thing.
Yeah.
Very possibly content from a cut war within Harandar raid now, come to think about it. Also, the roadmap makes no mention of a new zone in 12.0.7 at all, that being listed very much as a 12.1 major patch feature. And honestly, that tracks with what I've always thought about this zone too, frankly. If there is Black Empire and Voidy stuff getting involved, that would tie in very strongly with the main plot of Midnight. And also, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier,
I agree,
but this zone is huge. Like, as big as Zula Man, so this is clearly 12.
Damn, I didn't realize it was that freaking big. That's what she said, right? That's a huge freaking island. What the hell? Oh, yet another hint here that this bridge was in fact broken intentionally. Look at the other bridges, most likely also built the same way this one's. Same quality build. These bridges are still intact. This one's broken. So yeah, it looks more and more intentional the more you look at it.
12.1 in my opinion. The Isle of Fangs, poison, snakes, maybe Black Empire. Ooh, maybe a continuation of the Noel Rot story thread from Dragonflight. I don't know about you, fam, but Snake Lower was not on my 12.1 bingo card. What do we think of this? Let us know in the comments below.
Is Bwansamdi gonna make an appearance too? I kind of miss Bwansamdi, man. Every time we talk about Loa, I'm like, where's the coolest Loa of them all?
Including your thoughts on my biggest question: how long is Ulatek? Is she like continent spanning long? Basically what I'm asking is, are we finally gonna have Jesse Cox's long snake tail in Gondrak explained?
What is this giant snake tail?
Clearly, it's a super critical story point to World of Warcraft. You just haven't found out yet.
It drives me crazy, and
And look, I'm not even being funny, okay? Because if that big Gundrak tail is Ulatek, that would connect Zulaman to Northrend, which potentially makes it relevant to Last Titan as well. Also, I'd like to hear your opinions on Zul'Jan now that the expansion is out. He's clearly got a lot more stuff going on, but do we want him to be villain-batted? Will he end up a boss in this raid, or will he fight with us against the Fangy Loa? I'll admit, after Alpha, I was all up for
I kind of hope we don't kill him. I do. I kind of hope we don't kill him. But I think he's a cool character.
him being a baddie, but I don't know. I kind of like the guy now, honestly.
I like him.
Let's not kill him. Let's be friends. Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for joining us today.
I understand his whole trope. Like, there's all this stuff about we should be ashamed of what the Amani have done in the past. Don't forget, the Amani were pushed to, like, fucking near extinction by the elves. And, yeah, they did some fucked up shit for sure, but that just comes with war and, all that crap. So he's not ashamed of it. He's not. He's like, yes, it happened. It doesn't mean we gotta freaking, huddle up in a corner next to a campfire and never try to be great ever again. So I totally see his side of things. I do. while his sister is the more virtuous and, your typical, like, oh, I'm gonna, modern society and all that shit. Sure. But I totally empathize with his side of the story and why he feels the way he feels.
If you like this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who still make all of our videos happen. And seriously guys, thank you, because without you, there would be a whole lot less Taliesin and Evertel. If you didn't like it,
Zoljan
downvote the
Troll
shit out of it.
Garrosh,
Remember, my
maybe.
name is Sid. No, my name is Taliesin from me and Evertel too. Until next time, cheerio.
Yeah, nice video overall. This is a good one. Obviously, 12.1 for sure to me. That would be cool content. I'd be down for that. A troll island, troll raid, going and seeing a snake glow up. Maybe one zombie appears. Ooh, be a cool one for sure. I think I'm down for this, and I do think that's what it's going to be. I can't imagine it being anything else at this point. So, nice video overall from Taliesin and Nevatel. Really cool stuff here.